Hi, I'm N7Stryder, and this was going to be an XCOM Enemy Within review. I just had the other one to show that I am a fan of the series, but I just wasn't happy with the way it was going. It's not a game I can really talk about, so I decided to do something a little different. If you're wondering, 9 out of 10, fantastic. It makes XCOM, last year's XCOM, which was also a damn fine game, really fun. It makes it even more enjoyable. If you've got a PC and you want to download the expansion, it is a full-on expansion which overlaps this game. It's highly recommended. If you like turn-based strategies, it's highly recommended. If you're a fan of the franchise, highly recommended. I would pick this up because it adds more to this game and makes it fun. But as I was saying, I wasn't happy with the way it's going because I keep saying real-time, turn-based strategies aren't something I can review adequately. I have to talk about the mechanics, and I'm all about the fun. Just if it's fun to play and what it feels like to play, and I couldn't give an adequate review, so I'm just throwing it out there. This is damn fun. It makes this, if you enjoyed this is more fun. If you haven't played this but like the sound of go and look at another review. Someone who's played it. Bitscreed has got a fantastic let's play of this. Go and take a look at it, see if it's something you'd like, but then if you're on consoles, get this one because it has more stuff in. That's fun. Okay, just there you go. I love this one, and it's very much like the original, but this one makes it more fun. So that's the one I would get. That one's, you could probably pick that one up for around about £20 now, 25. That one's £30 now. I ordered this weeks ago and paid for it weeks ago, and it arrived a couple of days ago. So I've been playing it. I love it. 9 out of 10. Fantastic. Makes this one even better. So there you go. But this isn't what this video is about, because I found out I just couldn't review it without, I had to talk about the mechanics, and that's what I'm not about. So I've been putting this video off for quite a while now. I just kept putting it back, and trying to sort out my memories in my head, because I didn't start off the way I normally start my videos. Hi, I'm N7Stryder, and this is my origins video. Where I started gaming, what age I started gaming at, and why I started my YouTube channel in the first place. So I'm going to go all the way back. I think I was maybe 5 or 6 years old, and I can't even remember the name of the console. It was a home computer system. All I remember is it had audio tapes that you used to push in, you used to pop the lid down, you used to press play and play your game, but you had to rewind the cassette first. I think you had to run tape A or something, and the screen was only in black and green. And I remember at the weekends going to stay with my dad, and he'd put these games off for me, and there was Scooby-Doo in the Haunted Mansion, there was Fast Food Dizzy, I think I've mentioned this in a previous video, Friday the 13th Part 2, Fantastic Adventures of Dizzy. Yeah, I have mentioned these in a previous video, because in Fantastic Adventures of Dizzy, here's where my memory comes in. When the game starts, you get served in your prison cell a loaf of bread and water. You use the water to put the fire out in the fireplace. The fireplace has a secret passage in. You can then use the secret passageway to go up a level. In that level there is a rat. The rat is hostile. You use the bread that you got from your meal in the prison to bypass the rat. I think there was also an apple in there as well in the opening dungeon. You go up the stairs and you're out into the world proper. There you go. I played that game a lot. I do remember how to get out of the opening dungeon and the Fantastic Adventures of Dizzy. It's not exactly rocket science, but I still remember it, and to say I was so young, it speaks volumes. So since that time where I played a few of these games just on whatever the hell games console, home computer system that were, I didn't really play many games. There's a couple of years gap, and then I got a Nintendo Entertainment System, an NES or NES, for Christmas, and I was sick with flu that Christmas. I remember coming downstairs and just feebly just ripping the paper off, and like that's nice. Kind of got to bed now, and I went back to bed, happy with my with my present, but very, very sick. I think I was about 8 years old. I even remember that my dad fetched it upstairs into my bedroom and set it up for me with the little portable TV that I had in there, just so I could play it while I was laid up in bed. I think I actually slept through till Christmas dinner, and I came back downstairs for Christmas dinner and then just went back to bed again. I was very sick, like one of the worst Christmases I think it will be. So like, I think that Christmas I got Gremlins 2, the new batch, the game, which even though it was a movie tie-in, it was really good. I played it through countless times. I can still remember the boss fights in there against the electric gremlin and the spider gremlin, Spike at the end. The fights against those, and I actually really enjoyed it. It didn't match the film particularly all that well, but it was very fun to play. Like Gizmo used tomatoes as his weapon, throwing tomatoes at like bats and rats and stuff as he made his way through the levels, and I actually really enjoyed it. So it's like I had quite a lot of fun with that game. And then the other game I got that Christmas was boxed with the game, with the console. Everyone got it. It was Super Mario Brothers. And I think I had the same memory everyone else does of playing Super Mario Brothers. The classic 8-bit was, I'm sorry Mario, but our princess is in another castle. Why did it never go to the right castle the fucking first time? So I still remember when I beat it, it was just like I was screaming for my mum to come and look, because I knew that this was the last level. It had to be the last level. And I was jumping up and over, and there was the platforms moving, and Bowser was, it's called Bowser, King Bowser. Did his name change at some point? It was King Koopa. King Bowser. Was he originally called King Koopa and then it changed to Bowser? I don't know, but King Koopa, I was calling him at the time. He was throwing hammers, he was breathing fire, there was platforms, and there was the key behind him, and I was like shouting at my mum excitedly to come and see this, because I was finally going to rescue the princess, and I finally got the key. I was just like, oh. And then Princess Toadstool's there. Princess Toadstool, I refuse to call her Princess Peach. Princess Toadstool's there, and she says, "I'm sorry, Mario, but our princess is in another castle." And I was like, "But you're Princess Peach. You're not." Just kidding. I was like, oh, that's like the earliest gaming troll ever. It's just like, our princess is in another castle. I was just like, oh, just kidding. I was like, oh, so I've rescued the princess. Have I finished? That was my ending. Okay. Well, I loved it. Anyway, I just loved playing the game. I played through it numerous times. Everyone tried to jump over the flagpole. If you've played the game, you know what I mean. You try to jump over the flagpole at the beginning. I don't know if it was actually possible. I've been told it is possible, but it was kind of like one of them gaming urban legends. It's just like you can jump over the flagpole in Super Mario Brothers, and it's just like every time I tried, I could never do it. Like games then, they were rare and few and far between for me. It was like they were reserved for Christmases and birthdays only. So the next game that I got, and the first franchise that I ever fell in love with, and I'm still in love with it to this day, is Megaman. This birthday I got Megaman 2. Megaman did exist. I went and got Megaman eventually. I think I gave a friend of mine who had it, I think I saved up my pocket money, and I think I gave him a couple of quid for it. Because that's all he wanted for it. So I eventually got Mega Man 1. I even got Mega Man 3, but the first franchise game that I fell in love with was Mega Man, and the first one I played was Mega Man 2. I can still remember there's Airman, Woodman, Metal Man, Quick Man. They were all man-mans. There was no lady or woman. Clash Man, or was it Crash Man? How many was there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, that's 5 out of 8. That's not bad considering, you know, like, did I say Quickman? I said Quickman, didn't I? Yeah, to say I got 5 out of 8 and I've not played it in ages is pretty well, pretty good in my opinion. So yeah, I absolutely loved Megaman. It's just like I completely fell in love with the game, what it was about. It even had like a bit of backstory to it where Dr. Light or Right, depending on which territory you're playing it in, his name did change. I think in Mega Man 2 in the PAL UK versions, I think he was Dr. Right to begin with, but then it changed to Dr. Light. Yeah, whatever. But he was creating robots, and they were for good and to accompany, mankind and to serve mankind, which I thought was still a little bit evil. But Dr. Wily, the villain of the PC, he thought they should use robots to enslave mankind. So it was just like two scientists, very different goals. One was using, and all the enemies were meant to have like a purpose. Like Metal Man was meant to be like a lumberjack sort of, a work droid, whereas Mega Man was just like an all-purpose, better than everything droid. So just like I just love these little. I think he was called like Super Rock Rainbow Man or something in Super Rainbow Rock Man or something in Japan. Crazy name, but whatever. Rockman. Everyone knows who Rockman is as well. It's Mega Man, but just Japanese. Rockman sounds more like it'd be an anime. Getting off topic, but I just loved Mega Man the franchise. I still play them now. I do have Mega Man 9 and 10, I think it is, downloaded off the Xbox Live Marketplace, and that's one game that I just play on my offline profile. I don't want to talk to no one, I just want to enjoy playing a Mega Man game. I do have 2 profiles. I'm sure everyone do this? I have 2 profiles on my Xbox. One of them is for actually wanting to talk to people, and like if I'm online, you can, drag me into a party and you can chat to me about whatever. And I've got my offline profile, which is where I just want to sit down and play a game. So I'm sure everyone does it. So maybe I'm just weird. So where did I go from that? There is a little bit that I'm going to miss out during this entire history of gaming, my personal history of gaming, which is the PC bit, because I'd be able to be like, I got this game and it was quite good, but I don't remember the name of it. So I won't be very informative there. So let's move that. Pop up yet again, always in my videos. So where did I go from that? I think from there I went to the Mega Drive. I actually got it given to me, if you can believe that. Just one of my friends, he just like, I don't want this anymore, do you want it? So like, yeah, I took it off his hands. Sonic, it was the one game, Mega Drive / Genesis, sorry for you American viewers. Yeah, I had the Sonic games. I had, I think Sonic stayed with me up until I was about 13 or 14. I kept playing the Sonic games. There was also other Sega games like Rocket Knight Adventures and Dynamite ID and Decap Attack and Kid Chameleon. Excuse me. But there was also other games that I played. I think Secret of Mana was a Super Nintendo game actually. Was it? I think it was, but like I started with RPGs then as well, like some of the older ones. Also, while I had a Nintendo, I did have the gold cartridges of Legend of Zelda, The Legend of Zelda and Link's Awakening. Was it A Link to the Past? The second one, Link's Adventure, The Legend of Zelda 2. I did have the gold cartridges as well of those, and I wish I still had them, because from what I understand they're worth a lot of money now, but I did have the gold cartridges as well. So around about the same time that I had a Mega Drive just knocking around that I had given to me, I had some games for that. I also was given a Master System. I know it's a step backwards, but there were still some classic games on there. There was like this crazy bank shootout one where the bank robbers in the Wild West and you just shot them with a little target. Does anyone remember Operation Wolf? I fucking love that game. It's fucking awesome. I think that was a Master System game as well. I fucking loved that. It was brilliant. I can probably find that somewhere. It's probably free as well. Operation Wolf. If any of you guys remember Operation Wolf out there, you're as old as I am, and wasn't it a good game? There was also a game on the Mega Drive that I played a lot of called Mercs, where like essentially the name of the Merc you were using, like laser, he'd fire a laser. Machine gun, he'd fire a machine gun. Flamethrower, he'd fire a flamethrower. At least that's the way I remember it. There was also Chaos Engine. I don't really remember much about it other than it was fucking awesome. And that's all I remember about it. It was just really good. I'm sure that was a Mega Drive game back in the day. Apparently it was like pretty grisly and bloody. I don't really remember much of it though, but it was like back then it was, one of those games. I think did Mega Drive have Mortal Kombat as well? I'll come to that in a minute anyway, but it's just like there was all these like classic games knocking around, and the thing is you never really knew what a good game was until you actually played it. Like now you can just jump, is this game any good? You can jump on the internet and find out, but it's like you still had your AAA releases. These were generally your official Nintendo ones, or you're made by Sega ones. Went back in a time when Sega still made consoles, so it's just like they had their exclusives that were made in-house, and they were like your AAA titles, and everything else just kind of like fell by the wayside. There's all these like there was still the mega brand EA knocking around. I seem to remember playing FIFA Soccer 94 or something stupid like that, a stupid amount of time. I actually saw one of the cartridges for it recently in town, and I was actually tempted to pick it up because it was the one that I had. I think it was like FIFA 94 or FIFA 96 or something for the Mega Drive. I was just like, I actually might get that just for the nostalgia. Yeah, I used to play FIFA back in the day. Now I prefer to go out and actually have a kick around with friends than actually just play a sports game. I actually find doing the sport far more enjoyable. Maybe when I get a bit more older yet, and maybe when my knees packing or something, then maybe I'll find FIFA that little bit more enjoyable. But for now, sports games just aren't me. So yeah, moving on to I'm gonna jump through quite a lot of stuff where I'm just like, I'm not gonna mention it, but jumping ahead a little bit, this Christmas was when the PlayStation was released, a brand new era of gaming where games from now on will be on a disc instead of on a cartridge, and there were all these fantastic games coming out. Look at the power of this PlayStation. This was meant to be an attachment, I believe, for the Mega Drive to it, make it live longer. eSwap for the Mega Drive, played a lot of that too, but this was it was going to be an attachment, but not anymore. This is going to be brand new console, PlayStation. It's coming, it's here this Christmas. What did I get? I got an Atari Jaguar. Yeah, I got Cybermorph with that, which was fucking crazy. There was like this green alien face talking to you in the corner, telling you not to do things or to do things. And to be honest, I just enjoyed turning the ship from one shape into another, which was kind of like its selling point. It had a speed mode, but you could only fire one laser while it was in its speed mode, which was kind of like a dart, and then it'd like spread out into battle mode, which would make it wider, not as fast, but it had two lasers instead of the one. I'm talking cutting edge here. I also had Zool 2 and Alien vs Predator, which was a good game for the Atari Jaguar, okay? Alien vs Predator for the Atari Jaguar, damn good game. And I played that game so much, I got my worth out of the Atari Jaguar in the end. In today's standards, and I think back and I remember it, it wasn't all that good. Mainly because if you were playing as an alien, the Marines would line up one behind each other, so you could just run through chomping the fuck out of them. or if you were a predator, just using the staff, you could literally run up and just stab them with this staff, and they'd just line up one after the other. I don't know why, these just humans, dumb. So yeah, I played that game a shitload. Shortly afterwards, I got myself a PlayStation. I came to my senses and got a PlayStation. And I don't really remember much about the games that I got with it to start off with. I mean, like, I think I had a Pandemonium in there. I think I had a Tomb Raider, but it's just like... Even Tomb Raider for me never really stood out as being a fantastic game until I got to the T-Rex bit, and then it became phenomenal. But to start off with, I just wasn't enjoying it that much. I found navigating actually a little bit tricky. But the one game that pretty much sums up my PlayStation generation, just two games then. The first one is Metal Gear Solid. I played that. I loved it. I remember reading a preview of it very early on when they were talking about this game, and they said like your first weapon that you pick up is a broom handle. I was just like, whoa, broom handle. It's no gun. It's just like it's stealth. You use the broom handle to stab people to death with. This never made it into the game, of course. In the end, you did pick up a gun rather quickly. But I just loved it. I thought for a stealth action game, I thought it was going to be a bit James Bond, not my cup of tea. And sorry, just moving that, because if I don't move it and the computer thinks I've left, I'm not doing anything, and it just shuts down and you get delay on the videos. So yeah, I just thought it'd be a bit James Bond. I wouldn't be interested, but there was all this like sort of sci-fi element to it that I just found intriguing, like with the genome soldiers and snakes a clone and spoilers, liquid snake and all this cool stuff that was just in. I mean, I'm talking very loosely because I'm sure most of you have played some of these games, or maybe all of them. Maybe you're as old as me. I forgot to mention some of the TV shows as well. Like, do any of you guys remember Bad Influence or Games Master? Channel 4 had Games Master, which had Patrick Moore as the Games Master, and it always had some like 5-year-old kid coming in going, "Games Master, I'd really like a level select sheet for Sonic the Hedgehog, please," and just like stuff like that. If you've never seen it, that would just be very weird to you that moment. But there's also Bad Influence, which was like ITV's attempt, Channel 3. This is going to mean nothing to Americans, but it's like it had Violet Berlin and Andy something or other doing a game show, and there was like a data burst at the end where it was what was that name as well? Namrud, who used to give out the cheats, used to stick them to his face. But there was like a data burst at the end where it was just like lots of information in the end credits. And you had to like record it using your old VHS, and then like play and pause so you could read it page by page. But of course, whenever you paused the VHS, those lines used to come up, which made like the static lines. That's made everything unreadable anyhow. So it's just like, what the hell? There was no point to doing it. So yeah, I used to watch those shows as well. This is just like how much I've been into gaming. It's going all the way back then, but I think I was talking about PlayStation, and yeah, Metal Gear, like there was a whole sci-fi thing with it, and I just fell in love with that series, and I waited for the next game because I just knew there was going to be a sequel. And the other game that kind of sums up my PlayStation 1 generation for me, Final Fantasy 7. I know I'm going to get some people saying, oh, 8's better, or 9's better, whatever. 6 is definitely better. But I didn't have 6 at the time. I think it came on a Final Fantasy Origins disc or something, which I did play and I did enjoy. Love the story, but I played 7 more. Some of you will be saying I played 8 more. But whatever. But Final Fantasy 7... phenomenal. I just loved everything about it. It was completely different to anything I played before. I wasn't really a big RPG guy at this point. You could rename your main characters as well, which always helped, because I'd even do that with XCOM. I missed out the bit with PC where I would talk about XCOM. But yeah, I'd rename it into my friends, give them my friends' names, and we just went on this adventure across 3 discs. That was just insane. Granted, the 3rd disc wasn't that long. It was pretty much just like the end dungeon, but the end dungeon was massive, and it also had to encompass everything that had come before, the entire, the map and everything, all the details. I can still remember how to breed gold chocobo, so you can go off and get the Knights of the Round materia, and that Knights of the Round materia, the summon, is just sick. It one-shots Sephiroth, which is fantastic. I didn't actually have it the first time I beat Sephiroth. Spoilers, by the way, for anyone who may be playing it. But I'm sure you all have by now. But it's not really spoilers. But when I was fighting Sephiroth the first time, I did not have the Knights of the Round, which one-shots him. I don't even think I had Omni Slash, which is Cloud's level 4 limit break. I didn't even have that. I had to beat him through sheer determination and not much tactical thinking, but spamming items and just beat him down. And I still remember just watching the ending, even though the ending's not brilliant, it's just I still remember watching the ending, and it's one of my favourite endings ever, sheerly for the fact that it took me months to beat Sephiroth, and there was just the sheer satisfaction that I was watching the end closing scene. It was just brilliant. It's just like fantastic. One of the best experiences of my entire gaming career. Well, it's not really a career, it's just like my entire campaign of gaming from when I was younger, whatever you want to call it, my lifetime of gaming. It's still one of my favourite endings of all time, just because of the amount of work that I had to do to get to see it. Final Fantasy IX, in comparison, I mean, I know some people like 9 more than 7, but when I got through Final Fantasy IX, I actually didn't work that hard at the last boss. I ended up just beating it quite easily. I think he's called Kuja or something. It's a pretty cool fucking name though, Kuja. Anyway, so Kuja? I think it's Kuja. So I didn't seem to work that hard to beat him, so I just beat him and watched the ending, and yeah, it was pretty and everything, and I enjoyed it, but I'll just move that because they keep coming up, do the pop-ups, don't know why I'm singing. Bit tired. PlayStation 1, done. What did I get after that? I was thinking it was round about the time when PlayStation 2, and I actually had a bit of a gap in between my PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, where I'd fallen out with games a bit, but I was more interested in music. Hence, I've still got my guitar there, but I can't play it anymore because of my hands. I have a real problem with my hands. Actually playing games, even then, it causes my hands to become quite painful. If I'm doing something quite a lot like playing a game, I can only play for about an hour, and then my fingers start to get like pretty sore, particularly my thumbs and my fingers if I'm using the bumper buttons. But I don't know why I keep looking over to my pad there, but yeah, if I'm playing for a bit and I'm using my thumbs and my fingers, they do start to get a bit painful, so I can only play for like an hour. So yeah, if you ever see me online for like an hour and you feel like kicking my ass at a game, then's the time to invite me into that game. So where were I? PlayStation 2. So I'd fallen out with games for a while there, and I was round at a friend's, and he'd just got this new game. It was brand new out. He'd just picked it up on a whim. It was out that day, and he just thought, I remember playing the original on the PlayStation 1. This is PlayStation 2, so it's obviously going to be nicer looking. This game was Grand Theft Auto 3. Now, when I saw him playing this game for like the gamer that was sleeping inside me, it was kind of like he just went, what? It was a 3D world. This is taken for granted now, but it's just like 3D world, go anywhere, do anything within the game's mechanics limits, but you could find ramps and do Dukes of Hazzard style barrel roll jumps off them if you wanted. You could go on a rampage with a flamethrower if you wanted. You could pick up prostitutes, which was just like controversy. It's like back in the day with Mortal Kombat with the blood flying everywhere. It's like, what someone think of the children? It's just like, the reason why they become desirable is because you don't want us to play them. This is like me as an adult looking back as games I played when I was a kid. Thrill Kill got banned before it even came out. I even played Killer Instinct. There's the entire Nintendo 64 bit that I missed out. But I had Killer Instinct, I had Mario 64, I had Ocarina of Time. I even missed out Dreamcast, where I had Sega Bass Fishing, Jet Set Radio, and what was the other one? I've missed out quite a lot of games that I absolutely loved, because I just want to talk about like the consoles and the ones that stuck out for me and what I remember from actually owning said console. So Grand Theft Auto, it wakened the sleeping beast of a gamer in me, and just like, I have to get a console and play this game, and I did, and I got a PlayStation 2, I got Grand Theft Auto 3, I got Grand Theft Auto Vice City, I got Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, I got Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, I got Onimusha 2, Onimusha 3, I got, let's see, what else? PlayStation 2, lot of games. Burnout, I played Burnout quite a lot on, was it PlayStation 2? I'm pretty sure that was PlayStation 2 generation. I got so many games, I had stacks and stacks and stacks, I hadn't even started yet. I had an entire shelf full of games. Silent Hill, how could I forget Silent Hill? I played Silent Hill 2, loved it. Silent Hill 3, yeah, it was okay. I didn't like that one too much. Silent Hill 4, The Room, still has one of the best main title themes of all time, which is sung by the voice actress. I don't know if she's a singer as well, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn. For any of you guys that are interested, it's called Lullaby, and it was just beautifully haunting, and I just remember listening to this song. I mean, I used to play it at night as well with my ex-girlfriend. We used to just she used to sit beside me and we used to play Silent Hill 4 Room, and there was all these weird things in the Silent Hill games, and I actually found out that it's all about this demon that wants to be rebirthed into the world. I had no idea that's what Silent Hill were about because it was just so weird and so otherworldly, the entire series, but I absolutely loved it. I was even one of those people who didn't mind, and we're talking about Metal Gear Solid here, I didn't mind Raiden, to be honest, or Raiden, however you want to pronounce it. It's pronounced Raiden, I'm pretty sure. But I didn't mind him. I didn't mind that there was a new protagonist, and I could see what Hideo Kojima was trying to do. You were viewing Snake, that legendary hero, from someone else's perspective. That's what it was going for. You were seeing this hero from, another angle. You're not playing as him anymore, doing these impossible great things that Snake does, but you're seeing him as someone else. And then look what he did with Metal Gear Solid 4. He made everyone want to play as Raiden. So it's just like, by making him a badass ninja. So yeah, I loved Metal Gear Solid 2, even though it was playing as Raiden. I loved it. You got to play as Snake at the beginning in the oil tanker scene, and then you got to play as Raiden throughout the entire game. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. So yeah, I'd had about 2 or 3 PlayStation 2s because the laser was faulty. It just it was still a PlayStation 1 laser that was using, which means it was just burning out incredibly quick. And I went and got myself an Xbox because I was unhappy with the way Sony was treating the customers. It was kind of like, well, if your laser burns out, it's your fucking fault. So I didn't think that was pretty fair. I would have gone and got another PlayStation if I didn't hear that quote, which was reported by Watchdog on the BBC. So yeah, I was just like, well, I'm going to go Xbox. I mean, at least I'm still playing games. That's what matters. And when I picked up my Xbox, I got 2 games with it. Completely free, just like have 2 games with it. and it was Splinter Cell, which I played, loved, liked it. It's a good game. I'm not too much into stealth anymore because I prefer just to go in guns blazing and get the job done, than sneak around and maybe sit there, in the shadows for 20 minutes watching the guards patrol just so I know when to make my move. It's like, I prefer a bit more immediate action now because I don't always have time to be sitting in the shadows watching people walk around. I do enough of that in my own private time. So so I played Splinter Cell, I loved it. I even got the second one, Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, and was it called Pandora Tomorrow? I think it was Pandora Tomorrow, the second Splinter Cell game, but I got that one as well, so I did enjoy the games. And the other game I got with it was Halo. Thank God that I got Halo with it. I played through Halo 1, fantastic. I also picked up another game for, I think it was something like £5. I got Dead or Alive 3, which I actually enjoyed, fighting game. I do come back to fighting games every once in a while just to see how they're progressing. I always get at least one fighting game every generation just to kind of like see how it's going on. And I don't always go for this is the best one. I don't go for Street Fighter. I played Street Fighter 2 Turbo back on the Super Nintendo. It's not changed really all that much. I actually got Street Fighter 2 Turbo in the steel tin for the Christmas following that I got the Super Nintendo. The Christmas following I got Street Fighter 2 Turbo in the steel tin, which came with a little badge. It was like £75, and all you got was the steel tin, the cartridge in the steel tin, and a little badge, Street Fighter 2 badge, and that were it. That was a limited edition that cost £75 at the time, which was a hell of a lot of money for then. Where the hell was I? Halo, I just fell in love with it. It was this backstory that was just rich, and they'd obviously put thought into it. There were all these events that had happened before Halo 1, which I don't know how I became aware of them, but somehow I did. There was all these, it was, Spartan, there was the attack on Reach, which I believe to be a space station for some strange reason. And, John 117 was the last surviving Spartan off the planet. I didn't even mind that the second player because I played pretty much every single Halo in two-player with my ex-girlfriend. I didn't even mind that there was a second Spartan wandering around. Halo 2 was, it was good. There was still that the Bungie rule there, the just have 60 seconds of fun and repeat it. The niggle for me was the ending. I think everyone was disappointed with that, but it was also the brutes taking over from the elites. I fucking hated that because you worked up all your hatred for the elites in the first Halo game, and in the second Halo game suddenly they're not in charge anymore and you're supposed to be friendly with them. What the fuck's up with that? And of course that persisted into Halo 3, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So also on the Xbox, I picked up this little game from a developer that I'd played games from before. I just thought it'd be worth looking into. It wasn't even a franchise that I'm particularly interested in. It was based on a film franchise that I'm not a big fan of. It was a little game called Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Fucking loved it. I'm not a big fan of Star Wars, I really am not, but this was just a masterwork of storytelling. It gave you a situation, which was very much like Star Wars Episode 4, is it? They fuck with the timeline, A New Hope, where it's kind of echoes that. The beginning of the game echoes the beginning of A New Hope. This is set like 10,000 years before all those events happen. And there's the whole, Darth Malak, Darth Revan. I'm not going to spoil it in case some of you people out there haven't played. If you want to play a really great BioWare game and you have not yet played Knights of the Old Republic, fucking play it, because it's fantastic. It's fantastic. And I'm not even a Star Wars fan. And since then, when I played that, and there was that little BioWare at the bottom of the box, I just thought, I'm going to remember them because they're going to make some really fucking good games that I want to play in the future. Unbeknownst to me, would come in the next generation, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So, yeah, Knights of the Old Republic. I played Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords as well. I know that was made by Obsidian. It was not made by BioWare, but still, I picked it up and I played it because it was more Knights of the Old Republic, and it was just as good. They expanded on a few things. It graphically wasn't as sexy, I don't think. It was just like a little bit below, but they did add all this. They did add all this stuff in that was just like, my voice has gone really husky now, hasn't it? But I'm going to keep talking. They added all this stuff in. It was really fucking cool. 40 minutes I've been talking for. I will try and hurry up. Really fucking cool, and it was just another great story. So moving on, Xbox 360 era, up to date. I have missed a few things that I maybe should have talked about. Didn't really think of them. As I said, it's a long time that I've been playing games for, and there's only the one game that I can really talk about for the Xbox 360. The one that made me get an Xbox 360 to begin with was Oblivion. My God, I played Morrowind on the original Xbox, which we can no longer call the Xbox One. Thank you, Microsoft. But I played Morrowind. I then went out and got the Game of the Year edition, which had the expanded ones, and then I got Oblivion. I actually owned a copy of Oblivion, the game, before I owned an Xbox 360. I didn't want to miss out on a chance of getting Oblivion. So I actually had this game, but no games console to play it on. I just wanted to make sure that I had my copy of Oblivion. My God, that game, it just blew me away. It's just, when you step out of those sewers for the first time and you're in Cyrodiil, you can just look and just, that mountain, I'm fucking going there. That ruin, I'm going there as well. And you can go and fucking do it. And it was amazing, because it was quite a trek, to whatever if you just like, I'm going there. And you could go there. There was, of course, you were bounded into, invisible walls keeping you in Cyrodiil. But that was besides the point. It was big, considering it was like one of the early games. I think this came out in March. Yeah, it came out in the March following the November release. So it was just like, it was new and it was big and it was make your own adventure. If you remember those books like The Warlock of Firetop Mountain when you were young, like a Steve Jackson and Ian Livingston on it, or maybe the other way around, but where you go to page 92 to see what your fate is, you are dead. If you remember those, it was like that, but a bit more fair, where you don't die on every page. But I was just playing this game. It was just, even though I played a previous Elder Scrolls games, I kind of knew what to expect. Nothing prepared me for that. So yeah, there's the other game that I played as well, that one that really meant a lot to me this generation, which was Dragon Age. I'm not talking about it yet. So Dragon Age, it had the BioWare label on. This came out after Mass Effect, and I know there was Mass Effect 1, and then there was Dragon Age. Dragon Age Origins was the one I was keeping my eye on since before the console even came out. Microsoft was making kind of like a push for, we've got RPGs. I think RPGs was one of the things that people didn't really have that much of on the Xbox One, Xbox original. So it's like we're making a push for more RPGs. We've got Dragon Age Origins, and I was like, there was the RPG section before the console even came out. Was like, okay, that one looks good, that one looks interesting. There was Elvian, that one disappeared. There was, what was the other one? Blue Dragon, which I was like, I'm not really too keen on that art style. It's very Dragon Ball Z. It's the same guy who did the artwork for Dragon Ball Z. It wasn't really for me. You either love it or you hate it. There was Lost Odyssey, which I picked up and fucking loved, and it's from the creator of Final Fantasy. It's still a turn-based traditional RPG. You act, the monsters act, you know, so on and so forth. There is like a sort of active time battle system in there with like who acts first, and it adds a strategic level to it. It's fantastic, and all the way through that there's these like 1,000 years of dreams that you unlock as you're playing it through. My favourite one is called Little Liar. I'm not ashamed to admit that I actually cried at a couple of them. It was just a couple of tears. I wasn't like full on sobbing. Just the odd manly tear just rolling down my cheek, just to prove that I still have a heart. So yeah, Little Liar definitely touched me, and I was just like, oh god, that's actually quite terrible. So like, yeah, there was a few times where I got choked up reading the 1,000 Years of Dreams, but definitely Little Liar, I was like, oh god, I had to turn the console off after reading that one, because it was quite heartbreaking, even though it ends on a happy note. But yeah, if you guys can find it somewhere, you can probably read it on the internet somewhere. Little Liar for Lost Odyssey, from Lost Odyssey, one of the 1,000 Years of Dreams. If you haven't played Lost Odyssey, and you're not getting a console till next year, pick it up. It'll last you. It's a good, I'd say maybe 40 to 50 hours. It's been a while since I've played it, and that's just gunning through the main story. There is some side stuff as well, not a fantastic amount. It runs on the Unreal Engine as well, which for an RPG is very strange. Another game that disappeared that was meant to come out on the Xbox 360 was WebZen's Huxley. That vanished. It was also, that game was featured on the same page of this magazine that I remember reading, which had Dragon Age in it. Borderlands, but it looked more realistic instead of silly. So yeah, there was also Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. But Dragon Age, really, for me, it was like one of those games that I just thought next generation's here, because it was just massive. Another game that was featured in that magazine, I can't even remember what magazine this were that I was reading, one was BioShock, but another game that was featured was Mass Effect. Yeah, I got around to talking to it eventually. Mass Effect, it looked completely different in the picture that they had. It was actually featured underneath Dark Sector as a third-person action game, even though it's more of an RPG. It looked completely different to I don't have it to hand at the moment, but I think there's a screenshot on the back where there's my screen's gone dark. I really hate it when that happens. I'm sorry if there's a bit of a delay in the video. But there was a screen where Commander Shepard looks completely fucking different to what he actually looks like now. What you recognise as Shepard, the male Shepard. Yeah, he looked completely fucking different. The arm is different. Garrus looks a bit different. There's a picture of a Mako on the Citadel and stuff like that. Of course, I didn't know what any of this were, but I was just reading about it, and the main selling point, what sold me on this game, was we've designed this game, and I saw BioWare there, but that's regardless, I had to be sold on it, despite being a developer that I knew. And I've got to admit, when I first was reading it, I'm like, oh, they're not making Knights of the Republic 3, but I'm kind of glad they didn't. Even though I still was gutted they weren't making Knights of the Republic 3 for the longest time. It was sold when they said, we're making a trilogy of games, this is the first. We've already planned out game 1, game 2, game 3. They're saying this now as well, that they're making the next Mass Effect game. We've planned out the story from start to end, part 1, part 2, part 3, and I'm not trusting them, because they've done this once and they fucked me over once. So when they said this was a trilogy of games, we're aiming to be gaming's Star Wars, I was just like, fuck yeah, count me in. I remember playing it, and actually the first time I didn't get that into it. I think I got to my first Uncharted planet and fought my first Thrasher Maw, and then I went back to Dead Rising and whacking zombies with a golf club again, because I hadn't finished it yet. and then I went and did a bit more Oblivion, completely forgetting about Mass Effect, and then I went back to Mass Effect and kind of like just like, oh, it's okay, it's a good game. And then I got to Ilos with the not Ilos, Vermeer, with the revelation of what Sovereign actually was. Of course, if you're not a Mass Effect fan and you've never played the games, I'm now talking gobbledygook, but like the revelation of what Sovereign was, I just thought it was salvaged Reaper tech. All the way through the game, I was like completely sold that it was just salvaged Reaper tech from a long dead civilization. I didn't even know Reapers were that fucking size. I thought they might have been human sized. I was just like, oh well, fucking the Reaper race left behind this ship. Oh no, it's a fucking Reaper. And as soon as it got to that bit, I was like, whoa, I never saw it coming. I was like, even though I was reading the Codex entries, I wasn't taking it in. And I played it through, and I was just like, I was gripped from that point on. I went to Ilos, and then I went to face Seren, and at the end when my shepherd was walking away victorious and that music played during the credits, M4 Part 2 by Fonts. If you go and look at it on YouTube and Fonts M4 Part 2, there's actually a lot of Mass Effect fans just talking about how great that music is. And I think there was one guy when I went in there who just went, I've never heard of Mass Effect, but I really like this music. I was just like, I feel sorry for that guy, because he's like, he has no idea why all these people are talking about Mass Effect. So it's like, this is a music video, it's got nothing to do with games. So like, I was just like, oh, I feel sorry for that dude. And after I finished playing it, I was just like, that is so good that I'm going to forget about it for about a year. Yeah, I forgot about Mass Effect. I just thought, oh, that was a great game, and put it to one side and went and did something else. Bit of time passed. I played games in that time, but this is the hard bit to talk about. I struggled with depression. I got really depressed. I was on medication. I don't want to go into too much details. I want to try and keep this video upbeat and positive. But I struggled with depression. I was on quite a high dosage of antidepressants. I was also in therapy. There was just numerous things going on, and I needed a game to play. Pure and simple. This is similar to another person on YouTube who I'm not going to mention the name of because it's not for me to say, but this was one of the reasons why I went and subscribed to this person. It was one of the things that pushed me to actually press that subscribe, because our stories echoed each other's. But I just needed a game, and I looked through the games that were in front of me, and I was just like, I don't feel like playing that. Dragon Age, I don't think it actually come out yet at this point. It was a couple months away, I think. Or maybe I had it and I played it and I was just like, oh well, Dragon Age Origins is great. I was just like, I don't fancy playing Halo 3. I don't feel like playing this game. And I moved another game to one side, and Mass Effect was there. And I was just like, you know what, I remember really enjoying that game. I'm going to play it again. And it was just the right game for the right time. I loved it even more. I had the time on my hands to go in there, look at it, and really look at it. And just everything that was in there, all these little touches, just made that game so much more than a game. It was, I don't know, it was, even though Shepard with the RPG mechanics, you know, if you tried firing a fucking gun, the reticule would just flare massive and he couldn't shoot that thing for shit. And just like, he's meant to be like a badass, you know, like space soldier or whatever, and he just couldn't shoot for shit. It was just like, all these little weird things about the game, like the Mako. Not everyone loves the Mako. I love the Mako. I love the fact that Shepard couldn't shoot for shit until you'd leveled him up about 12 times. All of the little bad things about it, I found myself loving, and it's weird when that game has an effect on you, when the bad things are kind of like the things you like about it. It's kind of like playing Deadly Premonition. If you haven't seen Ability Drain, She's doing Let's Play over on her channel. It was one that I was planning to do if I ever did Let's Plays, which is looking unlikely at the moment, but go and have a look at that game because it is a weird fucking game. It's ugly and it does quite a lot of things wrong, but it's a fantastic game. I reviewed it, I think. It's a beautiful train wreck. Yeah, it's like driving down the motorway or the highway and there's a car crash. You shouldn't look, you don't want to look, you know what you're going to see is fucking terrible, but you look anyway. It's that sort of game instead of the premonition. But Mass Effect, it was just the right game for the right time, and I was hooked, and it was literally like drugs to me was Mass Effect. I played through it again and loved it. I played through it again straight after that, a second playthrough. Then I played it through countless times since then. I've played it through 20 times, 30 hours a piece on each playthrough on average. My longest playthrough time has been 35 hours plus a few minutes. My quickest playthrough, which I'll do every side mission, has been just over 30 hours and a couple of minutes. I think it's like 2 or 3 minutes. 20 playthroughs of one game. That's a little bit sad, but it's still because I love the first Mass Effect more than the other two. That's not to say the other two are terrible, but it was just the right game for that moment. So why did I create my YouTube channel? This was before Mass Effect 3 came out that I actually thought about making a YouTube channel. It was round about the time the Mass Effect 3 trailer came out and the YouTube app was available on the Xbox 360. I was just like, I haven't seen a trailer yet, and the people were like saying Mass Effect 3 is coming, so I just went in to this app that I downloaded, YouTube app. I just typed in Mass Effect 3 and up came this video by a YouTuber by the name of GamerMD83, who I was just like, oh well, I'll give this a watch, and I watched it, and I think it was like a Mass Effect talks on one of the races or something, and I don't know what it was like. It was like, well, that was pretty good. Very clever and like edited and all this such. I'd never be able to like edit videos. And then on another one of her videos where she was discussing the trailer with another YouTube user of the name of Scottish Warrior 92, you know, it was one of those videos where they were talking about the trailer, talking over the top of it, like, here's the sort of thing that I'd like to see from the game. It's like, here's what we think this is. And I was just like, oh well, I'll go and subscribe, you know, go and have a look at Scottish Warrior. I didn't subscribe to either of them straight away. I went and looked at Scottish Warrior 92's YouTube page. It was just like, no, it's pretty cool. It was just him talking to the camera like I do, and I liked that. It was very personal. It was just like one-on-one, and it was, even though it's a video that's open to everyone, it was just like that one-on-one interaction. He was giving his opinion on gaming and things he liked, things he hated, and I was just like, well, shit, I can turn a camera on and record something. Little did I know that when I started I fucking couldn't, but it was just like, I can do that shit. And it's like, I've got things I want to say about Mass Effect 2, but not just about Mass Effect. It's just games in general, like things I like about them, things I hate about them. So yeah, it's just like, that was the first point where, like, since then there was like Scottish Warrior said, go and check out Alex Hunted. Went and checked out his channel, liked it. You know, it's Phantom's Lover, Gone But Not Forgotten, Ability Drain, Bitscreed, all these, not to say that they're small time, because the quality of videos that they make is fucking high, but it's just like these big YouTube users, like with your millions of subscribers, I think they're shit, really. It's just like, they're not personal, they're just in it for making the money. And it's the smaller ones that I actually really enjoy watching, the ones with you know, who only have like a couple of thousand or a couple of hundred in some cases subscribers, and just my little amount of subscribers, you loyal band who will be spared when Judgment Day comes. But it was those small groups that are, you know, the ones who they interacted with each other and they gave back to the community that, you know, and it was obviously a hobby that they enjoyed. You know, they were just like, well, you know, they were all discussing what was going to happen. Mass Effect 3 was going to be like. I mean, I think I created mine after Mass Effect 3 came out, but it was just like, I was like, I want to discuss these things as well. I was driving my fucking family fucking crazy talking about like Mass Effect, and they'd be like, we've not played it. Just like in the town where I live, there's very few geeks. It's like it's go out drinking at the weekend, and that's their entertainment. That's all perfectly well and good. I'm not going to judge, but you know, it's just like I've got my thing, they've got their thing. So it was just like, I can do this. I can get my views out there. I can, you know, talk to an inanimate object, which is the camera lens, but I'm actually talking to the rest of the fucking world. So it's just like, yeah, that's the main reason I did it. It's just like I just needed some sort of release for all this geekiness in me, regardless of who views it. It's just like if I get one view or 100 views, it's just like I thank every single one of you who clicks on the video and just gives it a watch. This is a very long video, and for good reason. I've been saying I've been going to do this video for quite a long time. It is my origins from 5 years old playing my first ever game all the way up to the creation of my YouTube channel, which is where you guys come in. This has been my 50 subscriber. I know it's not a massive milestone, but for me 50 is huge. It's 50 thank yous, it's 50 handshakes, it's 50 hugs, it's 50 kisses, whatever you want it to be. If you've sat through to the end of this video, just thank you ever so much. It's been me rambling about bollocks like I normally do, but thank you for just sitting and listening to me. This has been cathartic for me. Is that the right word? Is that even a word? Getting a little bit tired now and a bit hyper. I do get a bit strange. So thank you. It's just every single one of you who bothered to click on subscribe. I don't ask anyone to click on subscribe. I don't ask anyone to click like. If you want to click dislike, that's completely fucking fine. I don't ask for comments. You guys do what you want. As always, I've been N7Stryder. My back and voice are killing me. But I've been N7Stryder and I should go.